Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Soulfire Tarot. This is for the month of February. I've already shuffled the cards here. So now, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on for Gemini. Holy guardian angels of the Most High, might your light and intelligent rays of light and intelligence in and of itself be present within these cards and help us say guidance, illumination, self-realization on the path of wisdom, evolution as a soul growing in life. So, interesting. So to begin in the center position, we have the Five of Wands here. You can see here depicted in this image is a person who looks like they're burdened. In some ways, they're grappling with something. We see these smaller people kind of wrestling with this person. And being in the wand suit, this has to do with passion, direction, kind of the expression of willpower, how we channel our energy, from above to below. And you can see she's on a path here, and it's in a field, mountains in the background, the white and black clouds, signifying kind of, the different kind of polarities here between light and dark. So anyways, let's continue to expand on that. I have the Six of Swords in reversed here. The Six of Swords is showing a woman who has a man's head on the plate. You can see here. But it was in reversed, so perhaps there's been something going on where somebody's gotten cut down, perhaps. Somebody is, there's been some kind of wounding, some kind of vindictiveness, something where maybe you have been somebody who has kind of like cut somebody down in a way recently, and perhaps there's kind of, the grappling with the consequences on that path of choices, when it comes to how you passionately feel about something or what you might be creating, or possibly grappling against. Yeah, when we see here the Knight of Pentacles, this might have to do something to do with, our worldly success, something to do perhaps with our work or job, something that is close to us that we've made of that gives us support, or something that we work to haven't given service, So maybe there's something on the job or at home where something like this has been coming up. Interesting. All right, I want to read a little bit back into background here and see where things are coming from, what might have influenced this kind of time in this position. This one. Interesting. So I got the Universe card here. You can see this woman, floating in the clouds with these different spheres. She's holding these arrows, one upright, one below, which kind of signifies, could be seen as above, so below, which is the ancient Hermetic alchemic cosmic principle of understanding causality, in the cosmos. That what is happening at a higher level, whether it be in our thoughts, in some levels, it really kind of radiates out into the world, right? The way we think, the way we feel, impacts our experience. But then also in a more literal sense, like cosmic creation, or the process of, the generation of, let's say, like the solar system, or something, like there's an order to things and how things kind of accrete in a hierarchy of order, essentially. And it's not hierarchy with kind of like a moral attribution or sociological, even though we see it like in our structure, through our spine, through the developmental process. Everything comes from a singular source, is my belief, whatever we want to call that, great creator, great spirit, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, that infinite unmoved mover. So anywho, yeah, so it looks like it's coming from a position of something to do with creation there, and this could be a sign that you were possibly in a position to really kind of make something of yourself in the past here. Oh, reading that incorrectly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I could see that there was some kind of desire lined up, some kind of decision, some kind of dream going on here. This is the Two of Swords. There's a house in the background, and this woman is sitting here with the Cross of Swords with the Rosicrucian rose here, in the dark in a garden here in a moonlit, starry night. And there's this house in there, So perhaps you were waiting for something. You were waiting to kind of like achieve some dream, and maybe that kind of that opportunity came, to make yourself, and perhaps maybe that informs kind of where we're at right now. It's like working through this process, of like grappling with this path that you're on. Like, are there other people that are coming up against you? This could also represent, other aspects of your psyche. Are there fears? Are there limiting beliefs and things like this that are in the way, that are kind of like taking up your energy, or influencing your belief on the unfoldment of this path, that you have something worthwhile to bring and share in a journey and be observed. Notice the elk, the noble elk. I sense an energy of nobility in this imagery here, for this version of the card. Once again, in a field, that eventually a harvest could come right from the hard work, the diligence we do. And yeah, maybe there was something to do with you kind of getting cut off from something. And if you see this figure, she's nude, she's vulnerable, and she's in this dark forest. There's been other people's head, there's this guy's head chopped off here. But the six, it gives me like a snowflake. It's like, to me, it's a very orderly kind of like geometry, and the energetic resonance behind that. So interesting. I'm going to draw one more card here just to kind of do some more clarifiers so far. Gemini. Interesting. Yeah. So I can see here, this is the Ten of Cups in reverse. So upright, you can see that this is somebody who looks pregnant. And there's children, there's new life, there's nurturance, and perhaps something has been malnourished, perhaps something needs more nourishment. Are there people who are reliant on you for some kind of support, some kind of nourishment, where you just don't have it for them, or maybe you haven't been nourishing them enough as they need, in the situation of a context of, grappling with things, trying to kind of get somewhere with it, and this all sounds really general, but that's part of the power of imagery and divination, is really kind of finding the resonant relevance, to the subject, from the subjective kind of random splay to see what comes up. So interesting. Let's look, kind of see where this might be headed towards, and then we can try to find some kind of guidance, some kind of illumination in this process. Okay. Yeah, so I see you here. I got the Knight of Cups. Again, this shows me kind of like pursuing your dreams, being on the edge of your feelings, tapping into your inner resources, and carefully and gently, walking between, you see this noble steed, this support from other allies, perhaps invisible, or the universe, whatever your kind of karma and structure is in, and like holding up this dream in this process. But there's also this imagery here of the Three of Cups. We see a woman who is, pouring these two cups that she has in this field into a new cup, and begins to flourish, and this is closer to the harvest. You can see this wheat or whatever kind of plant, grain like plant this is, is getting closer to harvest, so this might have to do with something about like, like there might be more work to do, or perhaps like the combination of forces when it comes to whatever this kind of process or manifestation might be, might not be coming quite as you expected, or perhaps there's a misalignment of partnership, so perhaps part of what's going on here is trying to find the right partnership. This could also be something to do with the relationship. Is this a romantic partnership, like a life partnership. Perhaps it's not quite what you've dreamt of. Perhaps this is communicating something about, grappling with different people. Maybe there was a breakup. Maybe there was, somebody's head got chopped off. Maybe that was you, so you might be in a position of, kind of cutting your losses in some ways and, going from there. But I don't want to speculate too much without some divination here. So, clarification. Yeah. So, working hard on something, are you working on a relationship? Are you working on yourself? Like what have you been working on in terms of like creating a structure? We see here, something that's like uniquely of your own efforts. Come on, there we go. And this stone wall, right? This bridge, amongst a garden of some sort. Yeah, and it looks like there's kind of like this guardian at the threshold. We see this man with a fiery Doberman and some kind of door, that's partly open, but he's kind of giving me guardian vibes here, and this could be something to do with your home, perhaps your heart. This is the Ten of Wands, and so it could show that you're kind of at the threshold, some kind of change when it comes to being able to confront or bring up a certain kind of expression. This could also represent, some kind of like guardedness, about yourself or perhaps other people going on in this situation. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to just do some kind of general key indicators here. So this is going to be kind of like an overlay on top of this thus far. Whoa. Wow. Interesting. Five of Swords, which imagery-wise looks like it comes before the Six of Swords, which is the woman with the head, Yeah, personal strength, overcoming difficulties, some kind of relationship here. This image here, the Six of Swords, just it looks ruthless and brutal. You see this person atop another, subjugating them, like they've overcome them in battle, or subjecting them to their power. And you see these cuts, like there's been this battle, and there's a victor here. Perhaps through ruthlessness, perhaps through subjugation, some kind of force over another. I wonder if this is showing something that you've had to kind of take on this position, perhaps, or maybe you're being subjected to it. It's hard to say. And it looks like I drew this card in reverse here. This is the Queen of Swords, again with this head. This is so bizarre that it just pops out like that. But it was in reverse, so I'm seeing that maybe this was... right away, I got the message that this is your head, kind of in a way. So hang in there. Sounds like some of you Geminis might be going through a difficulty here, but there's the strength card. Have the strength and the perseverance to take the higher path of your higher conscious, the path of having discipline and overcoming these animal instincts, whether that's brutality of some sort. Not literally, I don't imagine, too many people listening to this would be like, all brutal, right? But this card representing, like this higher, having, power over this beast, right? What is the beast? What might be this beast in your life? Is this something inside yourself? Is this something that you can tame and make domicile, right? To have this creature as an ally. But if this represents yourself and whole in these different symbolic parts in a more gestalt way, having the means to tame that beast, because a lion can be vicious. I mean, look at this depiction of a lion, big teeth, snarly nose, looks like a monster, right? How might we be able to, get that monster in check in such a way where we can use that as a power for good, for constructive growth. One last guidance card here. Eight of Cups. Interesting. So having this imagery here, there's this old man who's walking away, from this pool of, fertile lotuses, coming from this hand of divinity, and some kind of emotional body, So this could be like breaking or walking away from like, a social group that might not be serving us anymore. This could be something to do with, perhaps, our dreams might have been connected with that. Some our hopes, our emotional connections that once nourished us and hydrated us. And, we were given the take of life. We see this man walking away, kind of looking back, and taking what he has with him. And that's okay. I've been experiencing that. Some, changes in my social life, some people who have been like very close friends of mine. We've just kind of been, it just feels like life is kind of going a separate way. We're growing apart in some ways, it doesn't mean like I have like animosity towards that person, but it's just kind of a recognition of life as it's unfolding, and that's okay. We all have attachments in different ways, right? We as humans, we get attached to things naturally as a social creature. We make bonds, right? We're warm-blooded. We feel love. We have emotions, we get entangled, and life can be messy. But we have freedom. We ultimately can make choices. We can make a choice, and sometimes it can be really scary, but we can find the strength within, to have the courage, to have the discipline, the forethought, and the acumen within ourselves, the resources within ourselves to tame the beast, and to walk away for what's better, for what's right for us. I feel like collectively thus far, your third sign I've done for this month, in the collective reading, there's a lot of strife going on, a lot of changes underfoot, and it just kind of feels like the world is reordering itself, and there's a lot of things that are up in the air, and it's like the ground is swelling. One of the cards I had up that came up during the collective reading was the Temperance card. This alchemical process, silver and gold, this angelic being, volcano in the background, just bleeding magma into the ocean, steaming up people's feelings, and the foundations are getting shook, and there's all this toxic fume, that essentially can serve a lot of things in life, for better or worse, coming from this volcanic gaseous emission, into the atmosphere, disturbing the mind, the air, the element of thought, So interesting here. All right, I'm gonna square out a few of these. But where to go and walking away? If that's you, you're at this. Here's this card, Threshold. Which we saw before. This one, right? Guardian, the gate or something, right? Some kind of blockage perhaps for somebody who's checking you through something. This is the Eight of Pentacles now, crossing the threshold. This is telling me that you have to face your fears. You have to step through that. You have to be willing to go forward. I mean, look at the snake. You don't want to step on the snake. You don't want to get bit on the snake, right? But you have to have the courage to go through with this, and to tame the animal, Maybe what you're afraid of isn't so scary if you really kind of, let's see, what's the next piece of the puzzle here? So this is the Seven of Swords, which is, to me, it's communicating like a person who's kind of like on a mission here, together with, their comrades, but it's in reverse. It might mean kind of like going it alone in some ways, with your making a decision, making a choice. Wow. Now I want to go to what I like to incorporate is Teal Swan's Blind Spot Oracle cards here. And just general summary on the back here, not being aware of something on our life path is just as dangerous as not seeing something when we're driving. So these are sigil cards here, and I like to think they kind of help illuminate the shadow or something that's in our unconscious. So this one, yeah, interesting. The 46. Yeah, look at this sigil. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that orderliness to that. Look at how it's symmetrical. The 4 and the 6. Interesting. So now I'll go to the reading here, into this booklet where Teal Swan has a faulty compass. Interesting. If you have drawn the sigil, you are allowing emotional influence to guide you, but the emotion you are being guided by is not an accurate reflection of your personal truth or the truth of the situation at hand. Essentially, you are allowing your emotion to cloud your awareness. When we're in a positive mental and emotional state, we tend to perceive situations to be high benefit and low risk. On the other hand, if we are in a negative emotional state, we will see a situation to be low in benefit and high in risk. For example, let's imagine that you're bullied in school by someone who made you feel sad and worthless. If you see the same person 20 years later, you'll probably still dislike them, even if they were nothing like they were before, because your emotions say that that person is bad. Emotions function like a compass, pointing you through life. If your compass was not messed with, you would not fall out of touch with your own due north. You would not see your emotions as wrong, and therefore you would see every emotion as valid and happening for an important reason. You would listen carefully to the personal truth being conveyed in every emotion, and you would follow what feels good within the awareness in the same way you would follow a compass. If you felt bad, you would understand that your thoughts, words, and actions were taking you in the wrong direction. But our compasses are messed with, distorted by thoughts passed down to us, information we're fed, beliefs we are conditioned to adopt, and ways the information is presented to us, experiences we have had, and meanings that we have assigned to these experiences. They are especially messed with during the process of socialization when we come into contact with other people who cannot accommodate the truth, including our wants, needs, and personal purpose. And this requires us to let go of our truth for them. Interesting. They expect us to behave that this is the only way to avoid conflict, to feel good. They ask us to replace our internal compass with theirs, and they fiddle with our compass so it is no longer reflecting our personal truth. Since your emotions are like a compass, always conveying personal truth to you and always pointing you in the direction that is right for you to go. Remember this? Right? And whatever's going on with this and this bizarre beheading, right? Walking away, going through this threshold, the fear of the unknown, but you might find like-minded people. I believe in you. I went through a process like that. The unknown is scary, but, follow your inner guidance. Yeah. To finish this here, there's usually a good nugget by the end of it. Yeah, it's critical to do this in life, to get back in touch with your emotions and start following that internal guidance system again. This is why teachings like follow your joy and be unconditionally present to your emotions and make how you feel the most important thing in your life are so crucial. Interesting. So following your joy, as one of the examples of using that as internal compass, what is going to, how can you tap into your dreams to find the joy of creation and your experience of life in the universe with these wands, seeking that love of life, waiting, but at the same time, working with that. Interesting. If you have drawn the sigil in this situation, you are following the guidance of your emotions, your internal compass, without realizing that, relative to the situation, your compass is faulty because it has been messed with from others for the years. Think of every emotion within you like the ice on a lake. Like ice, each emotion is covering a message of deep personal truth, like water underneath it. If you are unconditionally present with each emotion, you will melt through the emotion into the truth. Based on hearing the thoughts associated with that truth, you will know why behind the way you feel and why your compass is pointing you in a particular direction. You then need to use your free will to make a conscious choice to take conscious action based on that truth. Excellent. That was such a good message. You know, it's partly why I love doing this, is just, I get to experience kind of being the conduit of this. And in some ways, it's speaking to myself. I'm literally in front of a camera here, coming to you in the future, or from the past, rather. You're getting it in the future. Yeah. Yeah, and I just pulled the Chariot card. Like, you gotta go. You gotta go for this. We see the crab here, Cancer, with the protective shell or emotions, being a sea creature. But these horses, things are moving, things are changing. Are you gonna go with the flow? And find your compass, find your North Star. And move with the journey, move with the flow. All right, Gemini, that was really interesting. Wish you the best. You have the courage. You have what you need with you. You find it within yourself. And if you need any support, I encourage you. Pray to your innermost being. You pray to it like Holy Mother, or Holy Father, and your prayers may be answered in mysterious ways or otherwise, inside out. You have it within you. Godspeed.